it's Ellen. Today I want to show you how to crochet this top. It is a very easy and simple project to make. It consists of two pieces, the front and the back. The front has a slight triangular cutout for the neckline, while the back is just a rectangle. As you can see, this top also has slightly dropped shoulders. I usually prefer to make my clothes a little oversized because they feel more comfortable to wear, especially in summer. For summer projects, cotton, of course, is one of the best choices. In my case, I had a yarn I bought a long time ago, and I decided it was a perfect time to turn it into a top. You can use cotton in any weight, cotton blend, even a baby cotton yarn. Another lovely option is a cake yarn. It is a gradient yarn with color transitions. This is a yarn art flowers, which is also a cotton blend. And this top would also look very good with microfiber yarn. This is one of my favorite fibers along with cotton for summer projects. It is very easy to work with, although it's fine. Here is the pattern we are going to use. First, we crochet a foundation chain. Then we work one double crochet into each stitch. The second row consists of groups of 3 double crochet, skipping 2 stitches between these groups. These 2 rows will repeat throughout the whole top. We are going to start with the back piece. It is very simple because it is just a rectangle. We will be working from the bottom up. The width of your top will depend on your own measurements, so it will be different for each person. Front, we also begin at the bottom and continue following the pattern until we reach the point where we want to separate for the neckline. At the same time, when you decide where the neckline should begin, don't forget to think about the armhole as well. So in my case, I will crochet up to 11 inches before starting the neckline, and I will mark the armhole area at 10 inches. You definitely want enough room under the arm so it feels comfortable and it doesn't ride up too much. After that, we will crochet each side of the neckline separately. Then we will sew everything together along the sides and shoulders, leaving openings for the arms. Now let me explain how to calculate your size using your own yarn. To do that, measure from one shoulder to the other, from the outer edge of one shoulder across to the other. In my case, that measurement is 18 inches. And when I lower it down a little and check roughly where I want the piece to end, I am happy with that width. If you're using the same size and a similar worsted weight cotton blend, you can simply follow along with me. If your size of yarn is different, then you will need to calculate your own stitch count, and I will help you with that. We're going to start with a foundation chain. I strongly recommend using a hook one size bigger for it. In my case, the yarn label recommends a 4mm hook, so that is what I'm gonna use for main project. But for the chain, I am using a 4.5mm hook. This helps prevent the edge from becoming too tight. Make your chain long enough to reach your desired width. And when you place your chain on the measuring tape, don't stretch it. It should naturally match the width you want. And make sure the number of stitches is divisible by 3. In my case, I chained 66 stitches. And if I divide it by 3, I get even number. And for example, let's say you need 22 inches width, and that gives you, let's say, 88 stitches. We don't get even number, right? So you would want to round it up to 90 so it can be divided by 3 evenly. Once the chain is ready, switch back to your smaller hook and make 3 turning chains. Then into the fourth stitch from the hook, make one double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So which means turn your chain over and work into this little bump. Okay, the first one might be tight. And continue working one double crochet in each stitch all the way across. When you work in the center stitch of the chain, the edge of the top will look much nicer. Once the row is finished, don't forget to count your stitches. This is very important because if the count is off, it is much better to catch it now than later. I ended up with 67 double crochet, counting the 3 turning chains as one double crochet, okay? When you place the piece on the measuring tape, you may notice that it has shrunk slightly. That is completely normal. Cotton stretches when worn, so once it is on the body, it will relax a little. For the second row, chain 3 and turn your work. Make one double crochet into that same stitch. Then skip 2 and work 3 double crochet in one stitch. Then again, skip 2, 1, 2, and work 3 double crochet in the third stitch. Again, skip 2 and work 3 double crochet in one stitch. Continue this pattern across the row. If your work looks too loose or not very neat, you can go down a hook size. Everyone holds the yarn differently, so tension will always vary a little. Just try not to make it too tight because this top is meant to feel airy and slightly sheer. At the end of the row, in the last stitch, which is the third turning chain, make 2 double crochet, not 3. Then chain 3 and turn your work. From this point, the rows will repeat. One row is all double crochet, and the next row is groups of 3 double crochet with 2 stitches skipped between them. Don't forget to count as well. So this is how the beginning will look like. You skip this stitch just because this turning chain counts as a double crochet, right? And at the end of the row, when working the double crochet rows, always remember to crochet into the very last stitch, which is the third turning chain. Do not skip it because if you do, the edges will begin to slant and the width will get narrower. So continue crocheting according to the pattern, and in my case, I will make the height of the top 17 inches. I hope the explanation of the pattern is clear to you. So once again, we alternate these 2 rows. They will repeat across the entire piece. One row is made of double crochet stitches, and at the end we don't forget to crochet the last double crochet. Don't skip it. And the second row is groups of 3 double crochet stitches, and at the edges we have not 3 double crochet but 2. So at the edges it will be 2 double crochet, and the rest of the stitches are groups of 3 double crochet. Okay, and all of this alternates until you reach the height you need. And when you finish crocheting your bag to the required length and width, just cut the yarn, but make it a little longer so that we can sew one part of the shoulder. Since I have not enough space on my table, I'm showing you the entire back part of the top here. And the front, you are going to start the same way. Crochet according to the pattern until you reach the height at which you want the neckline to begin. In my case, I crochet to a height of 11 inches. And the last row before dividing for the neckline should be a full row of double crochet. Mark the center with a stitch marker, and since I have a row of 67 double crochet, I placed a marker on a double crochet number 34. When you place the front part, make sure that rows from the back are matching, and then go ahead and place markers where you want the underarm section to start. I placed mine at around 10 inches. Okay, so the next step is going to be a V-shaped neckline. Start the next row and work toward the center marker. Okay, and how to finish it? You will not crochet the last 3 stitches. The third one has a stitch marker on it. So first, second, and third. Instead, remove the marker and work only 1 double crochet in this stitch. Okay? Now you don't have to put the marker back, since we know that this is the middle. Chain 3 and turn your work. In the second row, we also gonna make a decrease. Skip 1 and start the row of double crochet in the second one here. So I skip this one and I work in this and continue the row of double crochet. 1 double crochet in 1 stitch until you reach the end. When you reach the end of the row, chain 3, turn your work and work the row of the groups of 3 double crochet. And again, I will meet you at the end of the row. As you can see, on this row we have 4 stitches left, right? So we cannot work 3 double crochet here, and we cannot work 2 double crochet in 1 stitch. Instead, I'm gonna work in this double crochet and then in the third stitch from the turning chain. So the first double crochet goes here, and then the second in the third stitch from previous row. Okay, chain 3, then turn your work. We continue our slightly decrease, so we skip this one and work first double crochet into the second stitch and continue the row of double crochet. Sometimes you're gonna have only 2 stitches left. In this case, make group of 3 double crochet and then just 1 double crochet into the third stitch from turning chain, like so. I'm gonna explain you again. On rows of double crochet, which will crochet away from neckline, decrease slightly by skipping one stitch near the neckline edge, okay? On 3 double crochet rows, simply watch how many stitches are left and adjust it carefully, shaping stays neat. If you have 4 stitches left at the end, make 2 double crochet at the end of the row. If you have 3 stitches left, then make 1 double crochet at the end. Then put front and the back together and match the number of rows counting from the marker. In my case, there are 17 rows. The neckline, I have crocheted 14 rows. So here I have, well, almost 6 inches, 5 and 5, and the height is 6.5. Once the one side of the neckline is finished, cut the yarn and work the other side the same way so both sides are symmetrical. To keep everything even, you will begin shaping from the underarm side toward the neck. And I want to show you how I like to join the yarn. I usually make a small knot. So the first step, tie a knot. Then insert a hook into the stitch you need. Place the loop from the knot onto the hook. Okay. Pull it through the stitch and then chain one. It's very secure. So when you start crocheting the second part of the neckline, at the end of the row with a group of 3 double crochet, you will also have 3 stitches left. The last stitch is the one where we had a marker, and there you will crochet 1 double crochet. This way you will have 2 double crochet in the same stitch facing opposite directions. Once you're done, you can start assembling the top. Join the shoulders first. I usually sew from the right side. Everything turns out nice and neat, and I can immediately see how the top will look on the right side. Just the simplest way, nothing complicated. Join one stitch to the other using a needle and yarn. Now we're going to start working on edging sleeves and neckline. So for edging, just do 2 rows of single crochet stitches. Try to aim for even spacing, and since it is the edge, it's not exact, just do your best and don't leave big gaps so the sleeve and neckline doesn't get pulled or tight. Just keep the spacing between your single crochet pretty even. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you love wearing your new top. Please like and subscribe and leave the comment down below. I would really appreciate your support. Count stitches.